Mavericks at Timberwolves. Big game here on national TV at 7:30 in Minneapolis. A rematch of the Western Conference Finals, a series that was 1-5 by Dallas, but some tight games in there. Probably a massive revenge game here for Minnesota tonight. Junior Brown in the house with a beautiful background, just noting before the show here. And Junior, I think a beautiful total between two defensive teams under 222.
It's funny because that's the new Dallas identity, right? They've been playing defense since they started the playoff run that took them all the way to the finals. And they started off this season playing pretty solid defense. Not as good as that level, but much better than the level they were at in the first half of last season, which was not acceptable. On the under 222 because of the spot, them having played an altitude game yesterday. It's a really tough spot for them. They've played quite a few games in the last couple of days, so Minnesota's have the rest advantage. But more importantly than that, we can't ignore the emotional element of this game. You're not going to tell me that this game doesn't mean a lot to Minnesota, a young up-and-coming team. And Dallas is using this game as a measuring stick. So I think you're going to see playoff-like intensity for whatever that means in October. But these teams will be hyped up to play each other, and this game will matter. As far as Dallas' side, they should be encouraged by the fact that, even though Luka can't hit water, if he was in a boat in the middle of the ocean right now, they're still somehow getting wins. And he's playing a lot smarter, getting fewer turnovers. I think they'll play at a slower pace, especially against a defense like Minnesota's. And Minnesota offensively, we know what their struggles can be. Ant's usage rating has gone way up. But in my opinion, and Shark, I think you kind of already know what I'm going to say. These teams that don't have a point guard, they really, really scare me, especially in the second half of games when things get tight. I'm going to definitely be on the second half under, but official play, full game under 222.
Yeah, and, as you mentioned last night, an under played against Utah 110-102. And, we had talked about this last year at the trade deadline. You said it. They became a defensive team, and it was really Jason Kidd honing in on this group after some pretty integral trades. Daniel Gafford, some other guys playing great defense. Obviously, P.J. Washington completely reinvented from his old Kentucky self as a center. Now a 3-and-D type of guy. But I think even more noteworthy, Klay Thompson comes over here. And a lot of people remember Klay Thompson for being one of the Splash Brothers. This guy's an elite defender. And he's just going to ramp up the defense even more. And Minnesota last year, I believe, had the #1 defensive rating in the league. This definitely is going to be a playoff-style game tonight. And speaking of roster changeover, Julius Randle not on the Knicks anymore, on the Timberwolves. And Luke, the prop master, looking at his rebounds over 7.5.
I am going over here, Shark. I can't help but love Randall to grab some boards tonight. So if you look historically, he's averaged 8 or more rebounds for all 9 years of playing in the NBA. Yes, that was on the Lakers, Knicks roster, so very different team. But he's 6'9", 255. He's looking leaner this year. He's looking energetic. I love the way he's playing and getting after it. He should be able to grab enough boards for us to cover this line against the Mavs team that's coming off back-to-back. Minnesota hasn't played since Saturday. I think Randall is aggressive in this one. He's gone over this number 2 of 3 games so far this year. And the last piece that, this might be an interesting take. People might not love this, but the public gets scared away on rebound totals when Rudy Gobert is on a roster. Yeah, he puts up 12 rebounds a game, so everyone else is going to, fade everyone else, right? I don't buy that. I actually think that the Mavericks and their centers and power forwards focus on Gobert. They want to get him out of the paint. I think that lends itself to more Randall opportunities on the boards. So again, I love his over here. Take over 7.5.
Yeah, and just one final point on that. We talked about this with a couple of the other games. There's some very unique calendar spots tonight, and Dallas finds themselves in one of them. 3rd and 4 back-to-back, 4th and 6. And if you talk about the rebounding prop market here, when a team is fatigued, rebounding is more of an effort stat than anything else. The effort might not be there on the boards. So I think that's really a nice looking over there. And of course, Minnesota in a massive revenge game here off of the Western Conference Finals. I could only look to the Wolves I did think the game might be a little sketchy against the spread. Oftentimes, these 5 or 6 point lines are very close, 3-bucket possession lines. So, best of luck to anybody betting the ATS side in this game. Junior Brown with the beautiful background, under 222, and the prop master Luke Shuey, Randall over 7.5 rebounds.
Book it.
It's cash.